Below is your 1600-word, heading-free, cinematic-style YouTube article, written in smooth, emotional English, perfect for narration and engagement. The rain had not stopped since the funeral ended. It came down in thin, cold sheets, the kind that felt less like weather and more like a warning. 8-year-old Lily stood by the graveside with her small hands tightened around the single white rose she had brought for her mother. She didn't understand most of what the priest had said. She didn't understand why everyone walked so quickly back to their cars. But she did understand one thing clearly: the world felt suddenly, violently empty. She thought her stepfather, Victor, would at least hold her hand the way her mother used to. She thought maybe he would carry her bag, or say something gentle, or tell her that things were going to be okay. She had spent the whole funeral trying to be brave for him, hoping he would see her as family, even now. But when the last of the mourners stepped away, Victor turned to her with a look that didn't even try to hide the disgust he'd been carrying for years. "Get out," he hissed, voice sharp and cold enough to cut through the rain. "Your mother is gone, and you are not my problem." There was no pause, no hesitation. He didn't look at her trembling hands or her tear-soaked cheeks. He didn't even pretend to care about the way her small body shook in the wind. Standing beside him was a woman Lily had seen only twice before, a woman with perfectly curled hair, red lipstick that didn't fade, and eyes that gleamed with satisfaction. Victor's mistress. She watched the moment unfold like it was the punchline of a joke she had been waiting to hear. When Victor gave Lily a rough shove toward the muddy path, the mistress smirked. Not a smile, a smirk, the kind grown-ups shouldn't use around children, the kind that tells you you're unwanted in a place you thought was home. Lily stumbled, dropping the rose into the mud. She stared at it, unable to bend down and pick it up because her legs wouldn't stop trembling. Her mother's rose, ruined. Her last goodbye, drowning in dirty water. For one terrifying moment, she wondered if this was her life now. No home, no warmth, no mother, and no one left to love her. Then a pair of strong, warm arms wrapped around her shoulders. "Baby, come here," said a familiar voice, gentle, steady, and full of the kind of love Lily had never gotten from Victor. It was Mary, the family's black nanny. She had worked for Lily's mother long before Victor entered their lives. Mary was the one who brushed Lily's hair in the mornings, packed her school lunches, and whispered stories in the dark when thunderstorms scared her. She was the one constant piece of love in the house. And now she was the only one standing between Lily and the storm. Mary draped her heavy coat over the little girl's shoulders. The fabric was warm, smelling faintly of lavender and home. She pulled Lily close and glared at Victor, unafraid. "She's a child," Mary said, her voice low but fierce. "And she is not going anywhere alone." Victor scoffed, stepping closer like a man who believed his money could make him invincible. "That kid is nothing to me. Her mother is dead. I have no obligation." Mary didn't flinch. "You married her mother. You made promises." "Promises," he snapped. "She's not even mine. I always told her mother she should have put the kid in foster care. I'm done playing daddy." Lily's breath caught. She knew Victor didn't like her, but she never knew he hated her. Victor turned away with his mistress, heading toward the sleek black car waiting at the curb. "Let's go," he said to the woman, not once glancing back. And that was it. He drove off, leaving a child standing in the rain, wearing a coat far too big for her but held by arms strong enough to keep her upright. As the car disappeared, Mary knelt down to eye level with Lily. Her eyes were full of sadness, but even more full of determination. "You're safe with me, baby," she whispered. "I promise." But Lily didn't know then that Mary's promise was more than comfort. It was a vow that would lead them into a courtroom, expose secrets buried in grief, and unleash a truth powerful enough to change everything. Mary took Lily to her small apartment, a place filled with cheerful yellow curtains, old wooden furniture polished to a shine, and photos of her own family. It was the first time Lily had slept somewhere that felt like warmth lived in the walls. Mary made her cocoa, tucked her into bed, and sat beside her until her breathing softened into sleep. For the first time in days, Lily didn't dream of funerals or cold voices. She dreamt of a woman humming a lullaby she loved. But outside that peaceful apartment, a quiet storm was forming. The next morning Mary contacted a lawyer. Not any lawyer, someone who had known Lily's mother since childhood. Someone who remembered the bright, strong woman who had fought to raise her daughter with love. Someone who wasn't afraid of men like Victor. When Mary explained what happened at the graveside, the lawyer didn't hesitate. "He abandoned a minor," she said. "That alone is grounds for emergency action." But then she asked a question Mary had been avoiding. Did Lily's mother leave a will? Mary nodded slowly. Yes. She said she had everything arranged. They found it. And what they discovered made both women go silent. Lily's mother had left behind a life insurance policy worth far more than Victor ever admitted existed. A policy naming Lily as the sole beneficiary. A policy Victor had tried to hide by using a different address for the paperwork. A policy he assumed no one would ever find. That wasn't all. There was also a handwritten letter from Lily's mother to Mary. Mary's hands shook as she opened it. The familiar handwriting bloomed across the paper, soft and careful. If anything happens to me, promise me you'll look after Lily. You're the only person I trust. Victor will try to take everything, but he won't win. I've kept proof of what he's done. The letter mentioned a USB drive hidden in the house. A drive containing recordings, documents, and financial records, evidence that Victor had been stealing money from Lily's mother for years, cheating on her long before she got sick, and planning to put Lily in an institution to avoid responsibility. Mary felt her chest tighten. Lily's mother had known. She had known the man she married was not someone who could love her daughter. For a moment Mary felt overwhelmed by the weight of what she now held. She was a nanny, a caretaker, not someone who belonged in a legal fight with a wealthy, vindictive man. But then she looked at Lily, quiet, exhausted, eating her breakfast in small bites like she was afraid the food might disappear. And she reminded herself of the truth. This wasn't about her. This was about the little girl who deserved safety, justice, and love. The legal battle lasted weeks. Victor stormed into the courtroom furious that anyone dared challenge him. He played the grieving widower. He claimed he wanted Lily back. He claimed Mary had kidnapped her. He claimed everything except the truth. But then the lawyer played the recordings from the USB drive. Recordings of Victor shouting at Lily's mother. Recordings of him calling Lily a burden. Documents showing withdrawal after withdrawal from her accounts. Screenshots of his messages with the mistress plotting to take the house. And finally, the security footage from the funeral, the moment he shoved an 8-year-old child into the rain. The courtroom went silent. Victor's face drained of color. His lawyer looked like he wanted to disappear. The judge needed only minutes. Full custody awarded to Mary. Financial protection established for Lily. All assets illegally taken by Victor were seized. And Victor himself faced charges for child endangerment and fraud. When the gavel struck, Lily didn't entirely understand what had happened. But she understood one thing as she held Mary's hand. She wasn't alone anymore. Months passed, and Lily began to heal in the warmth of Mary's home. She learned to laugh again, to draw again, to run in the park without fear. Mary enrolled her in school, helped her with homework, braided her hair each morning, and whispered affirmations each night. And though grief still lived in their hearts, something beautiful grew alongside it. A bond that was stronger than blood. A family chosen, not forced. Lily would sometimes ask, "Why did you stay with me that day? Why didn't you walk away like he did?" Mary's answer never changed. Because love doesn't leave, baby. Love protects. And in time, Lily understood something even deeper. Some people are born into love. Some people search their whole lives for it. And some people, like her, are saved by it. Not by someone perfect. Not by someone wealthy or powerful. But by someone brave enough to choose kindness in the middle of cruelty. Someone who sees a child in the rain not as a burden, but as a life worth fighting for. And that choice, that simple, human choice, is how stories of pain become stories of hope. Stories that remind us the world can break you, but it can also send someone to lift you up again. Someone like Mary. Someone who proves that even in the darkest moments, love still finds a way to shine. If you'd like, I can also create SEO titles, descriptions, thumbnails, text, or hashtags for this story.